This is If My People, Bible reading part 227, the book of First John, written 3, 4, 5 years after John completed the book, the Gospel of John. And he's got some more Torah commands in it, and they're specific. So the Torah commands are going to relate to what was going on that John was aware of and that John saw as a problem that led to sin. So listen carefully to the Torah of First John. It's another short letter, but it's got some important things in there that have a direct relationship to today. It still fits. Every single one of them fits what John said in 90-95 AD and what happens today. Basically, chapter 1, John just said, hey, Yahweh's been around since the beginning of time, very long time, and he's always been there and always will be. Chapter 2, verse 1, Torah. My dear children, I read this to you so that you will not sin. But if anybody does sin, we have the one who speaks to the Father in our defense, Yeshua, Messiah, the righteous one. Verse 6, whoever claims to walk in him must walk as Yeshua did. Now, people in those days did the name it and claim it. Oh, I'm of Yeshua. And then other people started coming and says, well, okay, and that's true, but did you sin yesterday? Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. People are interjecting salvation. Oh, well, to have salvation or eternal life, you have to also do this. And what John is saying in verse 6 is that whoever claims to live in him must also walk. There's that verb. So you can name it and claim it. If you're a Christian, if you're a person of the way, that's the way we ought to be called today, the people of the way, because the word Christian is just absolutely stolen word. There's, like I said, there's thousands and thousands of denominations with thousands of different doctrines, and most of the doctrines are totally errant, and traditions of men should be totally erased, and they will be one day. That doesn't mean that there's some congregations out there. I talk all the time about institutional Christianity churches, and they're churches of Satan, plain and simple. They're congregations of Satan. Just like in the Bible it mentions synagogues of Satan, so the Christians go, wow, that's them Jews. Your 30,000 different denominations are just as evil, period. And we know who the father of evil and deception is now, don't we? And if you know something is for a fact, why do you allow it in your church? Why do you dare put it in writing and try to follow it and try to put the people underneath you, put the sheep in control? It's all about control, isn't it? Excuse me. Verse 15. Do not love the world or anything in the world. Now, pay attention to what it says. Do not love the world. I just love this world. Don't you just love this world? I love this world. It's just a beautiful day. Isn't it a beautiful day? I just love this beautiful day. Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. This goes back to before Adam and Eve. This goes back to an old world and heaven and earth. And this heaven and earth existed for a long, I'll stay away from the word billions and trillions because that's just too hard to understand, or hundreds of thousands of years, a long time. And it makes sense that who's ever been in charge of you or in charge of something for 50 years and running a house, and one day a guy knocks on the door, he wants in, and he says, hey, by the way, I got these two people here, Adam and Eve. They're going to be in charge of everything you've ever done. And by the way, you're going to wait on them hand and foot. You're going to be my messenger, and keep an eye on them and take care of them. Because I said so. My name's Yah. And the other guy's name was Lucifer. Must have had some fur on him. And he says, oh, I don't think so. I'm going to raise hell over this, and I'm not going to stop Try to drive you all out. And I should have been the son. I should have been adopted as the son of the Father. But no, I can't do that. Oh, what's wrong with a little pride now and then? There's your reasoning behind everything that's gone wrong. There's your reasoning behind dinosaurs eating tarantulas, huge, gigantic things. This is your huge monsters. This is your shrunken, small little things. This is your microbes. This is your little things smaller than a microscope that eat you alive by getting in your body and destroying your body, giving you all kinds of blood diseases of all sorts, and you die when you should have lived for 1,000 years. And now, for a period, even during the Dark Ages, people didn't live much over 35 to 40. All this comes from Satan. And only Yah is going to take care of him. We cannot will Satan to go away. His minions, his demons, yeah. Yeshua gave us the power and authority to do that. But there's certain things Yeshua says that are other ways of cleansing some way, other ways of getting rid of demons out of the body that obviously we don't know. Yeshua said himself, remember? Remember him saying that? The disciples said, why couldn't we get rid of this? Why couldn't we clean up that? Why didn't we make this person better? Yeshua says, well, it's because it's different. Verse 24, see that what you have heard from the beginning remains in you. If it does, you also will remain in the Son and the Father. What is it that remains in us from the beginning? The Word. We don't need any other book on the bookshelf. We don't need any pastor, any preacher, any minister, any priest, any person stepping between you and the Father except the Son. That's it. And don't let anybody convince you otherwise. Verse 26, and now, dear children, continue in him, so that when he appears, we be, who's him? Yeshua. We will be confident and unashamed before him at his coming. Now, for a big part of that, as we've read, when he comes, there's going to be a lot of weeping and sorrow and joy. But weeping and sorrow. Why? Because we could have done so much more, and we're sorrowful and we're weak because we could and did not do more to lift him up into the hearts and lives of others. And maybe some gnashing of teeth for those who know they've done nothing and they are going to the pits of hell. That's where the gnashing of teeth is going to be. So there's a difference between those who go into the promised land weeping and crying and more sorrowful with joy, and those who are not coming in. Their destination is hell. You just don't hear that from pulpits these days, do you? Verse 7, or chapter 3, verse 7. Dear children, do not let anyone lead you astray. He who does what is right is righteous, just as he is righteous. Just as he is righteous, who's that? Yeshua. This is verse 11. This is the message you heard from the beginning. We should love one another. Verse 12. Do not be like Cain, who belonged to the evil one, and murdered his brother. And why did he murder him? Because his own actions were evil and his brothers were righteous. Verse 13. Do not be surprised, my brothers, if the world hates you. Verse 18, dear children, let us not love the words or tongue, but the actions and in the truth. Verbs, action, doing things, faith. Love is a verb. It's not just a love and candy. Flowers. 23, and this is his command, to believe in the name of his Son, Yeshua Messiah, and love one another as he commands us. Chapter 4. How are we doing? Pretty good. Chapter 4. Verse 1, dear friends, do not believe every Ruach, but test the Ruach to see whether they are from Elohim, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. There's a lot of minions. There's a lot of demons. There's a lot of Nephilim. There's a lot of people who do not have the Ruach, the soul in them. They're soulless. Verse 7. Dear friends, let us love one another. Love, 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 love. As you remember, why do they call John the love chapter? Well, there you go. Everyone who loves has been born of Elohim and knows Elohim. Dear friends, since Elohim, this is verse 11, dear friends, since Elohim so loved us, so we ought to love one another. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just on one page. Verse 21, and he has given us this command, whoever loves Elohim must also love his brother. 8, 9, 10. Chapter 5, verse 4, for everyone born of Elohim overcomes the world. You are an alien in this world. Demons are aliens. Yeshua was alien. Everyone who accepts the Ruach HaKodesh in them, the Ruach, the Spirit, has become and is adopted into the alien world. It's alien versus alien. But the problem is, some of the aliens are stuck here and they can't go nowhere. They gave up their first estate. The messengers, the angels, 1/3 of heaven went with Hasatan, went with Lucifer, as he became Hasatan and they became demons. Because they gave up their estate, they had no body, they worked their way into other people's bodies in demonic ways. Demons are real. That's what I'm saying. This is the victory that has overcome the world. It even our faith. And verse 21. Dear children, keep yourselves from idols. That is probably the biggest sin going on, besides grand pharmacies. Just our bodies are so full of altered DNA and all the nonsense that goes with it. Let's get into 2 John, to the elders. Verse 6, Torah. And this is love, that we walk in obedience to his command, as you have heard from the beginning. His command is that you walk in love. Watch out that you do not lose what you have worked for, but that you may be fully rewarded fully. Anyone who runs ahead does not continue in the teaching of Messiah, does not have Elohim. Whoever continues in the teaching has both the Father and the Son. If you're teaching, that means you got to stop, slow down to take care of somebody else in this world. Just run ahead so you be the smartest, most wisest person on earth. If you ever have a chance in heaven, ask Solomon, how'd that work out? Actually, I hope Solomon's there. Wow. If anyone, well, that's the warning right there about Solomon. Don't be like Solomon, because look what happens. Verse 10, if anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, what I just said, do not take him into your house or welcome him. Hi, we're from the Watchers Club, and yeah, we believe that Satan and Jesus are brothers. And I mean, all these cults out there is not part, if it's not found in the Word, these 66 books, you don't need to pick up the extra ones, because I've read them. They're just historical and other facts that are not to be canonized. In the book of Enoch, a fantastic history book, but you don't need it. The book of Josephus is an incredible history book, but you don't need it. Third John, dear friend, one Torah. Dear friend, do not imitate what is evil, but what is good. Anyone who does what is good is from Elohim. Anyone who does what is evil has not seen Elohim. There's your books. 1, 2, 3 letters. Love, 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 and stay away from evil, and evil people. Don't have nothing to do with them. 1, 2, 3 John. Thanks for being with me. Shalom.